Today's lesson is on Pablo Picasso, and we're going to learn that he helped invent a style of art called Cubism. And this here is one of his paintings. And the real painting is in the Philadelphia Museum of Art. And this is called, the original, and this is called The Three Musicians. When Pablo Picasso liked to paint, he liked to paint and draw images from different views all at the same time. And when he looked at his subjects to draw, he would draw them in simple shapes and break the subject down into simple shapes and simple forms. And you would also see different views of that subject. For example, let's look closely here at the three musicians' faces. You can see here the eyes are just simple circles. And in this musician here, the nose is just a simple shape, almost triangular. Here we have a mouth. This is almost two views of the mouth. And here's a simple shape of a mouth right in here. So we're going to be using simple shapes today to make our Picasso portraits. Here's an example of one that's finished. And here's another example. This was done by a second grade student. Simplified shapes we want to think of when we think about Cubism. And here's another finished portrait. Actually, it goes this way. And this is your eyes, the bridge of the nose, and a mouth area, with lots of patterns, lines, and texture. And here's another example here. This one I'm going to have to raise up a little bit to see the whole thing. Right here. This one has lots of pattern, line, and texture. All right, the first thing we're going to do when we do our Picasso portraits is we want to define our face, our shape for our face. So we're going to take our paper and we're going to go to the edges, all three sides, and we're going to place a simple line about 2 fingers from the top, and we're going to go to the side and jump over 2 fingers, put another line, and we're going to go to the opposite end here. So we're just defining our boundaries for our face. And we're going to the edges of our page, jumping over 2 more fingers, and placing another line. So I have 3 points on our page. I just left off the bottom here, okay? So on the 3 points of our page, and this is toward the middle here. This is top, bottom, jump over 2 fingers, put a little line. Same thing at the top and bottom. Now I'm just going to simply connect these lines together. 1, 2 with some straight lines. And this is just to define the boundaries of our face. And then if you want to add another one here, another point, you can, or you can just go down straight. That's up to you. I'm going to add another one, I think. Just randomly placed. So now I've connected it together with a kind of an abstract shape. It's not one that I can identify. I can't say circle, square, triangle, rectangle. It's just an abstract straight face with kind of straight edges. Now, or lines. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and place one giant triangle. Now I can place it, I can turn my paper any way I want. And on any one of these edges, I can make a triangle. I can have it overlap on both sides. So I could draw a triangle like this. I could put one down here, but it has to touch this shape someplace. It can be in the very center. So you're going to draw one giant triangle. And I think I'm just going to make my triangle come off here. So I'm going to make a straight line, and I'm just going to connect it together right there. Now you could put one, you can even do 2 if you want to. I can even put one long one right in here. As long as your edges are straight and there's 3 sides, that makes up your triangle. Now, so I put 2 in. If you want to put 2 in, that's fine. Now we're going to do a large oval shape. And again, you can have it overlap. Maybe I want my oval shape here. And you see how I'm overlapping? I'm going on top of that line, which is okay. So one large oval shape. It just must touch this shape or be inside this shape. And the next, and again, you can turn your paper any way you want as long as it can fit in. And next, I'm going to do 2 small circles. So I might put one here and one here. 2 smaller circles. And this is about the size of a grape. You can see it's as wide as my finger. So don't make it smaller than your finger. It's as wide as your finger. Now we have some basic shapes for faces that we talked about from Picasso's face. We had the circles. We have a triangle to represent a nose. And then I just did an oval for the mouth. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to turn your paper all different ways to decide which would be the best way to represent a face. And you're going to just look at yours. Now, everyone's is going to be different. Yours is not going to look like mine because you could put it anywhere you want. And you're just going to turn it to decide which is the best way for your eyes, nose, mouth. And what could be the mouth? You might not want this to be the mouth. Maybe you turn it this way and this now becomes your mouth. These could be your eyes or these could be your eyes. So it doesn't matter. You're just, the shapes are just giving you an idea. So I'm going to turn it to decide which way would best represent eyes, nose. I kind of like it this way. Let me see if I like it that way, or I think I'm going to do it this way. I think I'm going to do it this way. Actually, I'll put it at an angle too. So I'm going to have it represent my face this way. And so then I go ahead and draw in my neck. You can put in shoulders if you want, shoulder lines. Now you can define the lips. This is going to become my lip, these will be my eyes, and this will be my nose. Now the extra shape I'm just going to turn into an ear. So my nose is actually going to be placed upside down, and you just fill in now how you want your eyes, nose, mouth to be. And you can add other shapes if you want to. I might make lip shapes here. And then you want to add details to your eyeballs. And then I'm going to add a lid, a triangle for the lid. Keep it try and keep it straight lines so it becomes very angular. And this will be the side view of an eye. Then you're going to put, I like adding some kind of striped pattern in my picture somewhere. And then I'm going to put another triangle inside here for the details of the ear. And then I'm going to add some kind of hair. And I'm going to just do some wavy lines right to the edge of my page for the hair. Wavy lines, wavy lines. Now, what I have the students do is I have them trace all of their lines. If you're going to finish it the way we're going to do it, I have them trace all of their lines with oil pastel. And if you draw it first with a pencil, it kind of works out better. So if you trace all of your lines now with oil pastel, I'll show you on this finished example. See how they're traced with an oil pastel? And any small, this was a second grade example, any small areas you can color in with oil pastel. And then we take watercolor paint and paint right on top. If you push really hard, here's my eyes, nose, mouth area. If you push really hard, then when you paint on top with a watercolor paint, it resists the oil pastel and it will just pop right off. If you look here at this nose, I'll go ahead and paint over that with some watercolor paint. And this is just liquid watercolor, or you can use can use the cake form of watercolor. And I'm just painting with this right on top, and it repels it. It pops off because oil and water do not mix. And what I do is I have the kids paint the face. If you see here on this example, the sections of the face look best if the background of the face is all one color, and then all the little pieces are different colors. And the hair is all one color. We put in some kind of patterning or texture on the hair, and you can see where we have some of the resist showing right here on this second grade example. Any areas, this student had a big area of negative space behind here. So if we have negative space, you can take your hand and just trace around your fingers, and that becomes an interesting shape in your background. And you can see how this student had space in this corner right here as well. This one had very little space, but this adds interest to that background. That way you don't have a big area of nothing. And then they started adding some pattern to that. But bold, thick black lines, and then your watercolor resist on top, and you end up with a really nice Picasso image.